Just excited for another opportunity to step on the floor, against a tough opponent. Reminding our players, Indiana's a different team than they were the first three times that we played them earlier in the season. And then we got to come out with a high level of discipline defensively, high activity level on the defensive end of the floor, and continue to work on playing with the pace that we want offensively.
Taking any questions?
Hey, Alex, I'm good.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I couldn't see. Hey, Coach, it's Tarika. Just a couple quick questions. One, Marina, my God, over the last 5 games, she's been so incredible for this team in terms of it seems as if she's adapting well. What have you liked about what you've seen out of her, and how has she been adjusting, just from your perspective, to what you all are looking to do here in Connecticut?
I like that she's come in and just blended perfectly. She hasn't tried to be anything other than what she is, and that's exactly what we need. She obviously spaces the floor for us. She makes tough buckets. She gives us another option on the floor to run our off-ball screening action for. She gives us another player that can play with the ball in her hands in the two-man game. She just has a really high IQ and understanding of the game. She also has a toughness and a competitive fire like that our group has, and that allows almost a seamless transition. I think we've got to continue to find more ways for her to get some shots, particularly off the ball. She's been a pleasant surprise for us on the defensive end of the floor too. I mean, she has really good instincts, and she does a lot of things that you can't teach.
If I could follow up, just really quickly, you mentioned that this Indiana team looks really different than it did on Juneteenth when you saw them last, which is absolutely accurate. But what do you think are some of the things that you now have to focus on that you maybe didn't have to focus on back in June?
Well, I think anytime you're a young team that's really growing into yourself, the understanding of one another, the timing, the pace, the connectedness, just wasn't quite there early. It's there now. Everybody on the floor understands how, when, and where Caitlin Clark can get them the ball, and so they get there. Kelsey Mitchell's obviously playing at another level now, and so it gives you another player on the floor that you have to be mindful of on and off ball, in isolation and in two-man. They make quicker reads and play with a lot more rhythm, better timing, and multiple weapons on the floor. I mean, and it's a team that's playing with a lot of confidence. They don't fear anyone. They just go out and they play and enjoy the game, and they make that that's a tough matchup. For us, again, it's a team that we have to continue to force into tough twos, and we've got to be able to finish plays with rebounds.
Brendan, go ahead.
Hey, Steph. I was out these last two, but just seeing now with Marina kind of coming off the bench, I'm curious if, with DB and her willingness to do that, if that kind of opened the door and kind of gave everyone a heads up, like, hey, the championship player on our team who's won a championship before, if she's willing to do it, does that kind of make it so everyone else felt, hey, I'll do it too? Is that, if you could break down how that kind of developed?
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. I don't know. Obviously, I don't know that for sure, but I hope so. I think her willingness to do what it takes to win. We're going to continue to be in a situation again, just to emphasize that we've got 6 players that can start. Obviously, only 5 of them can. Only 5 of them can finish, and some days it's going to be one, and some days it's going to be the other, depending upon game and flow and who's hot and who's not and all of those things. And I think I also find a lot of value in understanding and knowing day in and day out what you're going to get from somebody off the bench. Knowing that you're going to get the scoring punch from Marina, knowing that you're going to get energy. Early in the year, that was one of my concerns about not having Dejanay coming off the bench, was that who are we going to get that from? Because it's such an invaluable part of a team in that second unit. And so I do find value in that as well. Again, I think it's tough to come into a team mid-year as well. And I think Marina's done a really good job of blending in. But, for us, we just felt more comfortable at this moment of just going with our core starters and bringing her off the bench.
And then one more about tonight's game. One thing Indiana has consistently been good at is their points in the paint defense. Just curious when you assess them on film since the last time you played them, how Boston, Nalissa Smith having Femi back, what that challenge is with that front court.
It is a challenge. I think we have to be a team that gets those off the move. We have to get them on second and third sides. We've got to get them from entry passes and off ball cutting. We've got to get them from attacking and driving and dropping. Just general post entries and one-on-one ISOs on the interior is not going to cut it. They're a team who helps heavy, particularly on the nail. So we have to be willing to get the ball to the second side. We have to be willing to attack closeouts. We've got to be willing to off ball cut in our 45 cut, in our 90 cuts. And understand the timing of those cuts. And so we really got to force them to defend multiple actions off the ball just as much as on the ball.